It's Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock Kingdom time. That means it's time for Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you for watching and joining in. If you haven't already, click that like, click that subscribe, turn on those notifications. Really appreciate it. Helps the show out. If you're watching live too, send us comments, send us some questions, interact. It makes it a lot more fun. And people don't have to listen to us three yahoos sit there and shoot off of the mouth the entire time. So, and if you haven't cruised on over to our social media accounts, go ahead and do that. If you got a second, check those out. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Chiefs Kingdom Live, all the same there. Fellas, Bo and I are back from the desert. We'll break down that trip and we'll break down the week one just absolute smackdown of the Arizona Cardinals. We'll talk some Patrick Mahomes brilliance, and then we will look ahead and preview and give some predictions for the game tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Chargers. Huge divisional game there on prime time. So, fellas, how are we doing? Nick?
I'm doing really good. That was a very stress-free, fun game for Chiefs fans to watch. So
yeah,
yeah, no, it was a blast. Bo, how are you doing? You made it home safe. It looks like.
Made it home safe. Still recovering. My body's still hurting. I tied one on with a bunch of AZ Chiefs Kingdom. Great time. Big shout out to Hachi and all of his boys who welcomed us and treated us so hospitably. Had a great time out there. Like I said, still recovering, but we'll dive into that here in a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that was a hell of a season kickoff party there at Pub Rock Live, like Bo you just mentioned. Thanks a million to those folks out there, Kingdom Jeff and Sean and Hachi. Dude, it was wild. Johnny B-Sides was there. Chiefsaholic was there. Nick Lowry was there. Christian Okoye was there. It was, yeah, see, there you go. Chiefs Kingdom Live, we kind of went out there and was part of the takeover in the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale area. So much fun doing the show live. They couldn't have been nicer, cooler folks out there at Pub Rock Live. Yeah, there's Bo. Although Bo had a swing and a miss, he had the Okoye jersey with him, and he didn't wear it to Pub Rock. And then the Nigerian Nightmare shows up there. Yeah, but yeah,
he's got a picture with him. He's a cool dude,
right? Go give all those folks a follow if you haven't on Twitter. I'm not sure if they've got Facebook or whatever. I'm sure they probably do, but you know, Hachi and Kingdom Jeff at Magic Mahomes, at Johnny B-Sides, at Chiefsaholic, at Pub Rock Live. Give them a follow. If you're ever in the Phoenix area, go swing by and check them out for sure. I was impressed at how much Chief stuff was actually in that place. And not just that it was a wild, raucous, packed, elbows to elbows people, but they had signed Montana jerseys in there. They had it all. They had a ton of, and not just recent Chief stuff either. I mean, they had some 80s and 90s stuff in there. They had a old school T-shirt in there. It looked like it was signed by Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. That was a Chiefs bar. That was impressive.
I was telling you, the owners are big fans. We got to meet the owner's son, Josh. He was really nice, super helpful with helping us out. It set us up a stage and everything. We weren't expecting, as Scott mentioned, ass to elbows people. There's probably 100, 150 people there.
Wow.
No joke, showing up on a Saturday before the game just to support Chiefs Kingdom. They were nice enough to make a stage. You can kind of see that in one of those pictures there. They were putting Pub Rock Live behind us, Mahomes cutouts and stuff and whatnot behind. It was really cool, really nice of them to do that. We had an excellent time doing that too. It was so much fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun out there. Great trip. Good to get away. Actually got a little bit of break in the heat while we were out there, so a lot of fun. If you're watching and you ever contemplated going to a road game, just do it. Go out there. If you follow enough people on social media, you'll find a party and you'll find where things are going on wherever you're going. So a lot of fun, great time. Once again, thanks to all the folks and new friends that we made out there, and to Pub Rock Live for hosting us. They invited us back out there. Maybe in February. That That's the side of the Super Bowl. So maybe I don't know that I will be forking over any cash for any Super Bowl tickets, but it would be a hell of a place to watch the Super Bowl. I guarantee you that. So
yeah, especially since the Chiefs are going to be there too. It'd be a great way to start and end the season, man. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. But with that said, you guys want to talk about this game? Week 1.
Sure, let's do this.
The Arizona Cardinals. Final score was 44-21, but that game was not that close.
No way.
I was tweeting out kind of just some stuff during the game there, and I tweeted out a shot of the picture of the scoreboard there at State Farm Stadium. It was the third quarter, and it was 37-7.
Yeah, that's what it was. Start of the fourth quarter too.
Right.
I distinctly remember it.
I thought maybe we were going to get Bo's 50 burger that he's been hoping and praying for here for all of last season, seems like. Looks like we lost Bo for a second. He had kind of a poor internet connection, so we'll see if he's able to jump back in here or not. Unless Nick maybe kicked him out. But
nope.
It was 37-7 in the third quarter. And the Chiefs just, Bo's back.
Internet. I've had Wi-Fi issues. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. We were just talking about the Chiefs. They scored 7 more points in the fourth quarter. The rookie Isaiah Pacheco, who had a nice game, capped it off with a tack-on touchdown. But they weren't trying. We saw anything is possible. Any given Sunday made an appearance in that game, which I think maybe I predicted on one of the previous episodes from last week. I don't remember if it was the Pub Rock show or the Wednesday episode, the regularly scheduled episode. But if you go back and you watch the episode from Pub Rock Live, all of us had a bunch of predictions that came true. We all predicted a beatdown. I predicted that I thought Travis Kelce was going to have a monster game, and he did. Over 100 yards, had a touchdown, just was unstoppable, dominated the Cardinals linebackers and secondary. Bo's back again. He's moved outside there. I can't hear Bo. I don't know if you all can hear Bo.
I can't hear you, no.
That helps if I unmute my microphone. I'm just hoping I have a little bit
of there you go.
better internet connection out here. That's going to be the change of scenery there. But, yeah,
okay.
Blowout. Just going to get my 2 cents in while I have internet connection right now. I remember it being 44. I looked at you and I was like, 50 burger. Oh, my gosh, it's going to happen. And then just fourth quarter shenanigans doesn't let that happen usually. But what a game. What a game. The offense looked amazing. Isaiah Pacheco crushed it. I know you just kind of mentioned him. Heck, I mean, shout out to the entire run team, man. They all looked great. I know we were kind of criticizing them before, but, I mean, I guess they watched our podcast and got a little fire under their ass because all the running backs looked insanely good, almost to the point where, like, who's our number one now? Like, because they looked so great. Patrick Mahomes lit it up, obviously. 5 touchdowns, insane. Everything. I'll let you guys kind of get into that. But, yeah, great time. What a blowout. All right, yeah, to you guys.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough superlatives about how they performed in that game, right? The offense, just whatever they wanted all day, they were getting. And Patrick Mahomes was just dealing all day. He had a hurt wrist. He was still just staying in there, steady, getting hit in the pocket more than maybe we would have liked. You know, I know that Scott in our group chat here was talking about how much he was getting hit, put out a tweet about it as well. But 5 touchdown passes, 360 yards, over 75% completion rate. If we can get 17, or maybe probably only need 16 of those games this year, then we'll be sitting pretty, right? Great way to start the season. You could tell that the Chiefs, had played their starters in the preseason. And it just looked like a team that was prepared versus a team that really just wasn't prepared. And really, once they got down, I mean, was there any doubt beyond like the first quarter or so that the Chiefs were going to just run away with that game. I mean, it looked like they stole the soul of the Cardinals early, and then they just kept pouring it on the whole game. So,
dude, to that point, when they scored the first touchdown, it felt like that, dude. Like the whole soul of the stadium was sucked out. It got so incredibly quiet. You could hear all of Chiefs Nation. It wasn't even just like the first couple scores. It was that first drive. They're just like, oh my God, what are we dealing with here?
yeah.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they just, we talked about how good they looked in the preseason. The offense and the defense, scoring touchdowns on every drive, the defense not giving up any points, and they just carried that right into week one. I mean, the offense was scoring touchdowns on the opening, scored an easy touchdown on the opening drive, moved the ball right down the field. It didn't even talk about not being nervous by the score. They didn't even seem like they were in third down very often. I mean, I saw a stat that they ran 66
because they weren't in third down very often.
That stat's scrolling right across the bottom of the screen. That's why you probably saw that stat. But
no, I didn't see it on the bottom. But yeah.
But you're not going to be afraid of anything or like have very many third down situations when the running backs are actually doing their job and getting 7 to 10 yards on the first down. You know what I mean? Like it made it a completely different ball game for them.
Right. That was like a little bit of maybe a surprise. They caught the Cardinals. Maybe the Cardinals were expecting Patrick Mahomes to be airing it out. And that first drive, they were rushing and getting big chunk yardage on the ground. And the Cardinals looked a little surprised by it maybe. Then they started blitzing, started putting more guys up in the line, and then it was slice and dice time. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was Mr. Ginsu with that secondary. I mean, he was just carving him up. He was cutting him up. Warm knife through butter. He was spreading the ball around to everybody, too. So, to run 66 plays and get 33 first downs in a football game that you didn't even really try in the fourth quarter is just unbelievable. Really not much to complain about. Anything that surprised you guys? Anything you didn't expect? Other than maybe them running the ball early? Was there a player that popped up that you kind of was surprised by, or maybe something that you went to how you thought it was going to go?
Bo? No? You can't hear us?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm here. I'm just going to let you go first.
No. I mean, somebody that I wasn't prepared for, CEH had a better game, right? Let's give that guy some credit. He had a long run. I think it was an end around. He had a couple of touchdowns. That fourth down touchdown pass that he got, it wasn't a struggle to get in the end zone, and he got in there, right? We've been pretty critical of him on the show, so just give him his due. I don't think we were expecting multiple touchdown day for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so I'd like to give him some credit. I was really stoked to see Jody Fortson get a touchdown. I did predict that he got one, so extra internet points for Nick, I guess. But he got in there. That was a tough catch. It was a good throw by Mahomes. I think I have it here. Let me pull it up real quick. But after everything that dude's been through, I was pretty stoked to see him. There it is right there. Get a touchdown. And then, just like, you can't say enough good things about Travis Kelce, right? I mean, that guy just it just delivers year after year after year. People want to say that there's other people in the game that are as good as him, but they're either not as consistent or injured. He's always there. He's always clutch. I mean, look at that. That's a beautiful ball. That's great placement. It's getting up in the air. That's beating your man to get there. What a day for Travis Kelce. So
he's covered right there.
Yeah, he's covered in most of the passes. There's another one on that same drive that he had that Scott and I watched the replays from all these different angles, and the window he threw it into is fascinating. Just unbelievably talented. But to go back to Scott's question, the standout players for me were definitely on the defense, man. I kind of been harping on Trent McDuffie. I was kind of worried about him and his play. He did excellent up until he got hurt, so I mean that's kind of really unfortunate. But man, that guy looked really good. unfortunately, they placed him on IR, so that's at least 4 games he's not going to be playing if he does make a quick comeback Raiders game. So that's unfortunate. But one thing that was really amazing to witness live was Nick Bolton. I know we give that guy credit a lot, and he should get all the credit and then some. That guy is twice as fast in person as he appears on TV. That guy was flying around, just everywhere in every play. I think he led the game in tackles for the team. Tackle for a loss that I remember was just crazy. Just that dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you're losing Bo, but I'm losing Bo. I agree. Nick Bolton, he flies in, he hits hard, he doesn't miss tackles, he doesn't try to arm tackle. He's going to be a stud for us for many years to come. I was impressed with the defense too, Bo. It really was. Yeah, I know it's a struggle.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. So Nick Bolton, you were saying?
No, yeah, that's the guy that impressed me the most live. You could actually see his physicality live. You could see his presence there. He was making his presence known to the other team. Like I said, I think he led the game with 10 tackles or something like that. Had a couple tackles for losses that were just spectacular. Sneed with that great blindside sack. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. No, the defense. Just credit to all of them. Chris Jones and Karlaftis getting some batted balls, the line getting to Kyler Murray. Just everything went well for our defense. I really like the way they did. That's who I tip my hat to, is the entire defense.
Yeah, Scott, didn't you say that George Karlaftis had the most QB pressures in the league this week?
Yeah, he had 6 pressures on the quarterback.
He's batting that ball down. It's a big play.
Yeah, I think I was most surprised by him. I know he flashed a little bit in the preseason, but some of that was later in the game, and you wondered if he's a guy that is kind of maybe of a project, and he's a motor guy more than like a physically dominant guy. But for him to come out and start and play with the ones and tip passes and pressure the quarterback, and he had a bunch of tackles too. I was surprised that he stepped up and played as well as early as he did. So kudos to that guy. Furious George. Again, we talked about the nickname, one of the best nicknames in the history of Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and just to add on to your point, kind of echo what you were saying, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I was surprised that they came out and they were kind of critical of him in the preseason.
Yeah.
And Eric Bieniemy had kind of said some things about him. And they had Jerick McKinnon, and they kept Ronald Jones. They had the rookie Pacheco, who was getting a lot of reps with the ones. Maybe the Chiefs were trying to not show their cards in the preseason. Maybe that was the plan all along, was to come out and maybe kind of sucker punch him with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But props to that guy. I've been critical of him. And so for him to come out, and a lot of people have been critical of him. Even people I know that really liked the pick when he came over and were big fans of his, that it kind of soured on him. To come out and rush the ball the way he did in the first quarter especially, he kind of looked kind of like old Clyde there as the game went on, where I think he had 35 or 40 rushing yards on the first drive, and then things slowed down. But they moved up and started playing the run a little bit more stiffly there after they got gashed there at the beginning. But yeah, all the running backs though, they all had averaging 5-6 yards a carry. So yeah, I was a little surprised by that, and I was a little surprised at how well they contained Kyler Murray. He had one long run. He had one long run, but other than that, they had him bottled up, and they had him flustered, and he was a non-factor in that football game.
He looked kind of lost, right?
Right.
They were getting to him, but there was a couple of things on the replay. I know you guys were at the game. You didn't see. We were getting to him and flustering him, and he wasn't seeing open receivers that he could throw the ball to. So credit to the defense there, right? Sure. Chris Jones probably could have had 2 or 3 more sacks, but I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's just so little. Like he like disappears behind the line. There's a play or two where like the line collapsed and you're like, did we sack him? And then all of a sudden he kind of like squirted out and was running with the ball. And you just have no clue where it came from. I mean, but yeah, that was that credit to them, right? I mean, that's a tough assignment when you have a guy that can be a home run hitter when you leave gaps, right? I mean, he's a guy that can run 50 or 60 yards on a QB keeper if he sees like a lane open up. So, I mean, that's gap assignment. That's, being staying home, right, is what they say, and being disciplined to not over pursue and all those things. So
it was definitely noticeable to see the defense run like a spy scheme, right? Like they weren't bringing 3 at a time or anything. They'd bring one guy maybe off the edge occasionally, but like they were definitely containing him up in the middle, making sure he wasn't going to get those runs. The one run he did was kind of out to the side too. So I don't think he knows where to go. I mean, it's hard to hang our hat on this game because of all the caveats of all the injured receivers, right? Like, I don't know if you're Kyler Murray and you're getting that flustered, like you don't have a number 1 or a number 2 to go to. So, I mean,
right.
That's difficult for any QB in that situation.
I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I thought that was a mistake to give him the contract that the Cardinals gave him. But Cardinals were a team that started 7 or 8-0 last year. They were a playoff team. Kyler Murray was in the MVP discussion at the first half of last season, and they just made him look like I don't want to say a nobody, but an average quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they made him look average. So, just an impressive all-around performance, defense, offense. They went in and they were prepared. Laney's got a comment there. I don't know if you guys have popped it up. Maybe I missed it, but they looked prepared, more prepared than the Cardinals.
Nope.
And Nick, you kind of mentioned that of talking about the preseason. Teams playing guys and teams not playing guys. And I know the hesitancy to play guys a lot or play them at all. You're seeing that more and more with teams in the preseason with their stars and their starters. But the Chiefs looked ready to go. Look, they were in midseason form. We got Race Car and Magic on the field. Yeah, for sure. They were incredible. Thanks for the comment, Race Car. Good talk. Good to see you in the comments. Good to see you this last week.
Race Car.
It was a lot of fun. Great time. So,
Race Car in the comments. Sorry, I'm a little behind, I guess.
Yeah, no, Race Car's in here, so good to see her as always. Good to see Laney in the comments. I don't want to dwell on things too much, but I did think Patrick. Now they were blitzing a lot too. The Cardinals blitzed over half the snaps. I think 55% I saw of the snaps they blitzed. Maybe that was part of it. But, I mean, he was getting hit more than I like to see. He got hit on that first touchdown pass to Kelsey and landed on the left wrist there awkwardly. He said after the game that it hurt pretty bad, but they x-rayed it and everything was negative. MRIs showed no tears, no broken bones, anything like that, which is that's a sigh of relief. He was handing the ball off with his right hand. A lot of times you see him quarterbacks do it with their left hand if they're right-handed. That touchdown to Fortson, I believe it was, too, he got hit hard, and his head bounced off the turf. He was just on the ground a little bit more than I would like to see.
There was a stat that I became aware of in the offseason that I'm pretty sure every team in the NFL is also aware of. Patrick Mahomes was the least rushed quarterback last year for good reason, right? Like, you don't want to, give that guy pockets and room to run kind of thing. But, I think we're going to see a ton of that this year, dude, just because, if I know that stat, I know most coaches know that stat,
Well, I was told, I heard that's by design, though. They're not rushing him because when you blitz him, he kicks the shit out of you.
Right.
And so Cliff King, I was surprised to hear because I think it was almost 60% of the snaps that they rushed him. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, he coached him in college. If anybody knows Patrick Mahomes, it should be that guy. And it's incredible that their game plan would be to blitz that much, right? and maybe they put together that game plan with JJ, thinking JJ Watt was going to play, and
Yeah.
But I mean, at a certain point, you'd think they'd back off and be like, he's got 3 touchdown passes. Maybe we don't blitz.
37-7 going into the fourth quarter. I think we're good. But no, dude, Scott and I had that PTSD moment as Chiefs fans. Like, we did the mental math. Like, no, man, if they score here, they're actually 2 scores away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, there's still a possibility. Let's keep going.
I will say I never had that feeling during this game where, like, even when the defense started kind of giving up some yardage there at the end, which I know you guys couldn't really hear me, but that's the reason I picked the score that I picked. I think I picked 38-21 or 38-24, and I figured there's going to be a couple of garbage time touchdowns at the end, but even then it was too far gone. The Chiefs could score at will, right? I mean, the only reason that the game wasn't 56-21 or whatever is because the Chiefs were called off the dogs and put anything as possible, especially in the fourth quarter when you're up by 30 points. So I just it's a head scratcher that Kingsbury's now getting a lot of heat over that game and the way his team's prepared, which I think is warranted, right? I mean, he's got a new contract too, and you come out and it's like everybody knows you don't blitz Mahomes except for him, and he coached him in college. It just seemed like an awkward game plan.
To the offense's credit, or to the Cardinals' offense's credit, they were finding the pocket when we would blitz them. And then vice versa, right? Like, we were doing a great job of finding wherever the pocket was that they were blitzing us, right? But
they were exposing the soft spots a little bit.
I think that's just a new thing on defense this year for everybody. Is just like I think you're just gonna see a ton of blitzes in every game. I saw it in most other games too. I didn't see anybody holding anything back really.
Well, as long as Patrick can stay healthy, I hope they blitz him a lot because he did really well. Right. How about Butker? We didn't talk about that. I mean, people that impressed you, what was that like live, seeing that guy take one step and kick that ball that far? Because I think on TV you kind of lose the distance, Yeah.
It was pretty impressive. Just going back to the blitzing thing real quick, I was watching one of the highlights, and it had Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were talking about it. And it was like, man, the Cardinals are blitzing a lot. And Tony Romo goes, well, yeah, right now, against the blitz, he's 9 of 11 for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. So maybe they want to stop doing that, and they didn't. So, but maybe the Cardinals look at that as that's our only hope, is to blitz him and get to him. Because
what are you gonna do? Let him sit there in the pocket and let guys run around? Right. You're right.
It's like pick your poison type situation. A lot of teams run into that. You blitz him and try to get to him and maybe rattle him and prep, but he eats the blitz alive. But if you let him stand back there and have all day, he's going to find the open guys, or he's going to take off and squirt out and run. You saw that in big games last year, like the divisional game against the Bills, where he outrushed Josh Allen. Crazy, but no. So the Butker thing, I saw him after that kickoff. It was the kickoff after the first touchdown where he got hurt, right?
Yeah, he stubbed his toe.
I saw him laying on the ground, and I thought maybe he slipped or something, but he laid there for quite a while. And then they brought Justin Reed in for the extra point on the next touchdown. And I was like, man, that's not good.
Right.
Because that guy's a weapon, right? So, but, yeah, I was sitting there watching him kick the long field goal, and I thought he was hurt. And then I noticed how close he was lined up to the holder. And I was like, that's a long field goal. and it was kind of like a line drive, right, Bo? You kind of noticed that too. And I was wondering if it was going to have the distance to get there because it looked low.
He would have made it from 60, man.
He crushed it. Yeah, no doubt. So
we looked at each other too. It's like one of those moments like, did that just happen? That just happened. He just one hopped that, didn't he? The funny thing is, right, so after the game, we go down to downtown Scottsdale, which is 30 miles away from the stadium, right? We run into Nick Lowry again, and he starts being like, how amazing was that kick? I'm like, dude, you would know, right? Like, it's so great to talk to you about this.
Yeah. Yeah, of all people is gonna appreciate that effort and that kick, it would be Nick the Kick. I think that was what they used to call him back in the day.
Doug, I think Butker is out tomorrow. I think they're going to go with the new guy, Amendola, that they signed off the practice squad.
Yeah.
That's what it's listed as so far right now.
Well, we've always got Justin Reed if that guy sucks.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 50% on extra points, but
right. Yeah, I was kind of surprised the Chiefs didn't go for 2 maybe after Bucker was hurt, but especially after they missed the effort. But I guess if you make the first one, you expect them to make the second. But in that game, it didn't really matter.
How about that kickoff though? He had a kickoff that went through the uprights.
He put 2. He put 1 through the uprights, 1 right at the back of the end zone, dude. Like it was impressive.
Yeah,
pretty crazy when your safety's kicking.
He was the mic'd up player, one of the mic'd up players this week. And so it's pretty funny, right? Because he, at the start of the game, I forgot to mention this, Scott and I get there early, very specifically, as Chiefs Kingdom will know, when you want to be there for the anthem, because it's always really fun to say, and the home of the Chiefs. And we did it, right? And the Chiefs Kingdom showed up to Arizona. It was so loud in there that, like, half the players, like looked around, like, oh, right? And Justin Reed was mic'd up. And he's like, dang, they travel hard.
You could hear it on TV. You could, like, especially at the end of the game, like when the fans had emptied out. I mean, you could hear the chant on TV audibly, not like you could kind of hear it. I mean, it was awesome. I love that about the Chiefs Kingdom. They just always show up to road games. We got our guy Chris in the comments. What's up, Chris? Looks like he's going to the game tomorrow. So
nice.
I'm jealous. Nice. I don't know, Scott. I didn't get the picture of the field in. But they've got the field done up because it's the 50th anniversary of Arrowhead. So they've got where it looks exactly like it did, I think, opening day. And it's going to be badass. So
yeah, go to our. I tweeted it out. I retweeted the Chiefs tweet where they had a picture of Arrowhead opening day and then the field for tomorrow's home opener, and it looks dope. Red end zones. They've got the A, the A Arrowhead logo at midfield instead of the old KC Arrowhead. Look pretty cool. Kind of regretting giving my tickets to our cousin Zach right now.
I was going to ask you if you're going.
Right. Yeah. No. My cousin was wanting to go to the game, take his wife, so I hooked him up with my tickets there. So.
Nice guy, man. Nice guy.
He's a crazy fan too. Zach is. He's loud. So he's one of the dudes that has no voice after the game's over. So
actually went to my first Chiefs game, my first home Chiefs game with him and you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but good to see you, Chris. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sending us a comment. Have fun at the game. Be loud. It's a big game.
Yeah, decibel up, bro.
But really, the story of the game was Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Isaiah Pacheco, and Travis Kelce, and Butker, and Eric Reed, and Nick Bolton. They all played tremendous. But Patrick Mahomes looked like a guy who had heard all of the disrespect all offseason, heard the talk about, who's going to be who's the next great quarterback right now that's under 30, and I didn't think he made the graph. They had Justin Herbert, new Mahomes, and Josh Allen, and some of these guys on there. He came out and was just unbelievable.
Dude, he looked so good.
30 of 39 for 360, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Right.
You can't play a better game than that, really.
According to PFF, you can.
Yeah, well,
it was probably the 8th best game by a quarterback I saw last weekend.
Right. I
mean, right up there, 8th best performance. When you score the most points out of the entire NFL. Weird.
If your algorithm or your calculation or your formula or whatever it is you use has that performance as the 8th best performance, you need to fix that, and you need to look at that. When you look at that, it spits out that ranking in that order. You should know something's wrong. So
no, there's all kinds of people that were like, do you guys ever plug in all the numbers and see it comes out and you see that game by Mahomes was the 8th and you're like, maybe this thing is fucked up. Is this just broke?
I think when you and I were talking on the phone, Nick, I said that'd be like if you had a calculator and you added 10 plus 10 that said the answer was 18, you would know your calculator was broken. That shit ain't working right. So I who knows? I think it's a lot of it has to do with they value rushing too much for a quarterback, and like he'll get like that Fortson touchdown and that pass to Kelsey where you're throwing it into a guy that's covered. They call those risky plays, or what is it? Potential interception or whatever the hell they call it.
Turnover-worthy plays.
Turnover-worthy play. So you get dinged for that for making an unbelievable pass. Look, analytics have their place in sports, and there's lots of teams that use them. Chiefs use them. Everybody uses them. And there's lots of stuff that you can get from that. But the eye test and watching the game, there's intangibles. There's things that can't be measured mathematically.
Well, I think that what you're seeing there is that they rate the plays based on like a -2 to a +2 or something. And I think it's like objective, right? And I think that's what you're seeing. Because what you're saying about throwing into the tight windows and it's turnover-worthy plays or whatever, well, like, you know, they also say, well, he also had a lot of like open receivers that he threw to. So it's like, well, so like you knock him for throwing to the open guy, and then you knock him for throwing it into a tight window, right? And say it's turnover worthy. And then you have guys that actually had turnovers that you rank above him. And it just seems very, I don't know, it seems like it's almost done just to get us to talk about it, right? Like, oh, we're gonna fuck with this number so that Mahomes is 8th, and then like people will be talking about Pro Football Focus. But I mean, when you go to their webpage, if you go to like where you subscribe for an account, guess who's on the very first picture you see? Oh, this is Patrick Mahomes. Like, I mean, I don't know. It just it was an annoyance, but at the same time, like I'm just sitting there like, well, I'll take number 8 all season if that's number 8. You know, where you score 5 touchdown passes and 360, 400 yards, and you're completing all your passes. You set a career record for consecutive completions in a game. I think he had 12 or 13 consecutive passes that he completed. It's the most he's ever done in a game in his career. If he can do that, like I'll take 17 of those or 20 of them, you know.
Dude, at this point, I'm just convinced it's just fuel for that fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like this game was nice to watch because it kind of felt like I was justified in kind of my like analysis of what I was going to like hope to see on the offense. And it was, man, just him with all these great options. You know what I mean? Nobody really dropped a ball. I mean, somebody had a drop ball, a little after the catch, kind of make things happen. We won't mention Mr. Schuster there, but all the other receivers, man, I didn't see any tip balls up in the air, 15 feet in the air, like doing the tip drill by any means. It looked great. Yeah, and that was kind of what I was expecting. Like, and that's what I kind of expect to see this week too. Just Mahomes, just who do you cover? What do you do? Like, there's still no answer as to like who his go-to is by any means.
Right.
Yeah, there was a play that I was watching somebody break down, and you know the Cardinals were playing deep, right? They were given the underneath side of the field, and Mahomes had 3 open guys to choose from. He just chose the deepest one, but he had 3 open guys to choose from. And it's just like if that's what it's going to be like this year, if we've got that level of talent that can get open, we're going to have some easy weeks ahead of us, I think. So, Big Doug here in the comments, did you guys see Sean Payton on the Herd talking about Mahomes?
Yeah, I actually tweeted out the clip of him.
He's the best.
That Doug's talking about. That Big Doug's talking about.
I actually I watched that like 3 times in a row where he's like, "Oh, there's no argument." Like I just was like, finally, validation from somebody
from someone who would know, right? Someone who's been around elite quarterbacking their entire life. Somebody that you just like,
and a guy that has coached some of the top offenses in the history of the NFL. The guy knows what he's talking about. So
yeah, that was sweet.
But so Patrick Mahomes.
Sorry, I was mentioning that. I was going to say this about Mahomes too. Is like we kind of saw him scramble. I mean, he does Mahomes scrambles, you know what I mean, and does the sidearm stuff with anything. But I mean, we only saw him run 3 times for like yardage. You know what I mean? One was for a first down. That's probably his longest one, and the other one's like. So we still haven't even really seen him scramble and try to take off yet. You know what I mean? He had alluding to your point, he had so many options, so many open guys that like he didn't need to do that. Like he just said, and then granted, like we talked at the top of the hour, having a run game get 7 to 10 yards of rush really helps just like, get really
Take the
comfortable
pressure
back
off,
there.
right?
And you could really see how comfortable he was. I mean, his mechanics look great. He didn't look panicky, which I kind of saw a lot last year. This year looked way more composed, especially when like faced with some pressure. Just got right out of the pocket, found his guy, bam.
And he didn't have the pressure to score on every single drive, right? Because he
Yeah,
scored a
exactly.
touchdown, and then the defense got a 3 and out. Now you're up 14 to nothing, right? They give up a touchdown, but you score again, and then they get another stop. Now you're up 21-7. I mean, when you have that defense that can help take that pressure off, and you don't feel like I have to score a touchdown on every play, I think it provides a different mentality for everybody on the team, right? And maybe that's where you saw some of those receivers that were, maybe trying too hard and not dropping passes, batting stuff up in the air because they're nervous. They feel the pressure of like I've got to score on this play, and some people just don't handle that pressure as well. So when they know they're not going to be backed up,
that and Mahomes has a rocket for an arm. You know what I mean? And
true.
I feel like he was
He
getting
had some great touch passes
year.
in this game. Yeah, he definitely. I mean, Keaton talked about that this week too. I mean, he had some really good touch on the ball, just lollipops like dropping right in. So,
right, yeah, he was doing it all, and it kind of was like gave me the idea for this week's Chiefs Kingdom CKL poll. Where does that rank in the all-time great Patrick Mahomes performances? And so we found 4 of his better games and put it out on the poll. I think Nick's got it there. We'll bring it up.
yep.
Patrick Mahomes' most impressive regular season performance. We've got the game Sunday against Arizona, 5 touchdowns. And you can't put all the numbers in here. These games, I mean, he had crazy yards and whatever too. So, but I just put the touchdown passes in there. You got the 6 TD performance his first year as a starter. I want to say it was his second or third game against Pittsburgh. He had the 5 touchdown performance was that Sunday or Monday Night Football last year in Las Vegas? And then the 6 TD performance in that wild game back in 2018 against the LA Rams. They actually ended up losing that game.
That game was the 50-54 game, right?
Yeah. 54, 51, I think.
Or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they wild game in LA, man. That was a game that was supposed to be in Mexico, and then they moved it because a Shakira concert or something destroyed the field. But I didn't get the poll out until late. I was traveling Tuesday, so you still got time if you're watching and you're on Twitter. Go to the Chiefs Kingdom Live there at Twitter and get your vote in. Right now, I'm kind of surprised that Rams game is leading, although that was a wild, crazy game. For me personally, the 6 TD game against Pittsburgh stands out to me simply because it was so early in his career. And he had a great first week, and you think, okay, well, we'll see if the league adjusts to him, see if he can keep that up. Pittsburgh at Heinz Field had always been a graveyard for the Chiefs. Anytime you saw the schedule come out and you're playing at Pittsburgh, you were just like,
yeah, dude. It was just like a game
back since like Neil O'Donnell. All the way back to Terry Bradshaw. I mean, our record against the Pittsburgh Steelers is abysmal as a franchise.
Some of my worst Facebook memories are like, oh God, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But he went into Pittsburgh and just destroyed that defense and was lighting them up. So, yeah, it's crazy. Like, he tied for second most 5 touchdown or more passing games, right, with Big Ben and who else? Dan Marino or something?
I think he's
Dan Marino.
Yeah. And it took him 50-something games or 60, whatever. And
64 games. I have the stat somewhere. I'm looking for it.
Bo's got the stat. Yeah, he's the one that told me the stat. So, thanks everybody who voted. Let's try to get some more votes on these. We got, we're up to almost 1,500 followers, and we'd like to get, if we can get 100 and see if we can get to the weekly poll votes to 100 votes. That would be great. Try to do our best job of finding something interesting and something that's not going to be a runaway with one answer, getting it's something to try to make you think a little bit about it. So
I just went on and voted for the Las Vegas game just because I was remembering the media this year. Like the Raiders always play the Chiefs pretty tight, so there you gotta expect that game to be close.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but and then I mean there's performances on there that we had to limit it to regular season, and then also had to try to there's a lot of other games in there that were up there. So, but yeah, thanks if you voted. Still got time. Poll will be going till probably midday tomorrow. So we'll tweet it back out, and maybe we'll discuss it on the next episode and see where the final tally comes out. But the guy's just unreal.
Unreal. Yeah, it was such a great game too. Like I said, just like he looked unshooken, like just picked up right off from where he left off last year. Just dude, 30 for 39 on your opening game, no INTs. Like you couldn't ask for a better opener. As far as that game being like his best overall performance, here's what I do like about it, dude. What a great game to like start off the season with, right? Like a morale booster going home into your home opener now, right? So just keep that momentum kind of going for 2 weeks, get the players excited. But it's like for me, I don't want to hang my hat up on that game too much. Arizona was kind of beat up, you know what I mean? We played a D-hopless Cardinals. Rondell Moore was out. JJ Watt was. I mean, so it wasn't the Cardinals that they're going to be in 6 weeks. So I mean, I would have liked a better test. But even then, like I don't know that 2 receivers. I mean, they would make a little bit of a difference. But man, 15 looks so good this week that nobody was stopping him.
But that's how you should play a team that's like in that state, right? You should have your guys out in the fourth quarter. So it was good to see them. Like I think the Chiefs in the past sometimes have been guilty of playing down to their competition. I just want to say a quick hey to Jamie, my buddy.
Oh,
Thanks
nice.
for hopping on, Jamie. He's a Pennsylvania native. He's a Eagles fan. They're all my guys out there are Eagles fans. So welcome. Glad you hopped on, Jamie. Eagles are looking like they're gonna have a pretty good season this year. So in their NFC, so I can root for them. But yeah, I was
got the Andy Reid connection with the Eagles.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I say that the Eagles are my NFC team. I've never really had a team that I rooted for on that side. So I was happy to adopt that. And like you said, the Andy Reid connection and everybody I know out there is awesome. So, but I was happy to see the Chiefs come in just play, balls to the wall the whole game until like it was time to hang it up. And they haven't done that in other games in the past. And so I know that, Mahomes was talking about the AFC Championship game and saying that like we kind of took our foot off the gas. And I think that this was them showing like they're not going to do that, right? And so I'm hoping to see more of that, going forward. So
yeah, it was really exciting to see them do like the least Andy Reid thing that he's ever done and like just keep going for it. You know what I mean? Like to your point, we're talking about should Patrick still be in there in the fourth this late, right? Like I was really it's refreshing to see him, kind of go for the kill there.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't take their foot off the Cardinals' neck until the game was basically over and 5 or 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Just kept pouring it on. That's what you want to see. That was one of my, if you go back and watch some of the episodes from last season, that was like one of my biggest criticisms of the Chiefs was their inability to put teams away. They would get up 14, 17 points,
and let them
then
come
the
back.
offense would seem to start running the ball or slow down. The defense would give up a long touchdown play, and next thing you know, you got a game again. And they did not do that in this game. And I don't care what anybody wants to say about the Cardinals. Yeah, they were a little banged up. Yeah, but that team started, like I said earlier in the show, 7 or 8-0. Kyler Murray was an MVP candidate last year. They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, but you think DeAndre Hopkins was going to – how much of a dent does he put in that 37-7 lead in the third quarter?
Yeah.
That's a team that people are expecting to compete for that division title too, especially with the Rams falling off, Seahawks getting rid of Russell Wilson. The 49ers are playing with not a rookie quarterback, but a first-year quarterback. That's a team that wasn't the Houston Texans, okay? That wasn't a team that people had just completely written off before the season started. That team has expectations, and they have good players. And James Conner was healthy. Zach Ertz was out there playing. So, Yeah, I mean, that's fairly decent competition. Maybe not the best competition, not as good as the game coming up tomorrow night, but impressive all-around performance. The game
It
tomorrow.
just feels good to go to a game and watch them win too, especially on the road too, right?
Yeah.
God, it felt so great. There was so many Chiefs fans there, man. I can't reiterate how strong AZ Chiefs Kingdom is. It was loud.
Yeah, kudos to Chiefs Kingdom, everybody that traveled out there. That stadium was packed with Chiefs fans. I went into the bathroom there, I want to say it was at halftime, and there was like 30 or 35 people in there, and I think maybe like 4 or 5 of them were wearing Cardinals gear. Like the rest were Chiefs fans in there. It was a takeover. It was a red wave out there.
Cardinals fans already left the stadium at that point, dude. Halftime, shit, they were out.
Yeah, they're getting torched in the parking lot.
I sent a video. I think I sent a video to Nick in our group chat, our group text of the stadium in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was just empty.
All Chiefs. It's just Chiefs fans doing the job. Just like, oh, this is so great.
No, that's the Kingdom on the road is a special thing.
Leads into a big game tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Chargers at Arrowhead, the home opener for the Chiefs. Chargers won their opening week contest against the Las Vegas Raiders. So this is a matchup of two teams 1-0. They're at the top of the division, with the Raiders and Broncos both taking losses in week 1. KC's 3.5-point favorite. That's actually been moved up. It's been moving up. So,
has it?
Yeah, the Chargers. Yeah, I want to say it started as close to a pick 'em, but the Chargers are, they won, but they held on. The Raiders had the ball at the end of the game with a chance to go down and win that game. So, it's obviously not a must-win, but if you could get an early win, you start 2-0, and one of those wins against the Chargers, who I consider to be the prime top competitor in the division this season. It's a big game. I'm not say it's a must-win game, but it's huge.
Here's why I think it's a must-win. There's so many people on TV still comparing Herbert to Mahomes, man. And like the difference is so staggeringly clear to me that like this is why it's got to be a must-win. And just like last week, to shut all these guys up, like for that reason only. Like we've said it before, all these guys hear it. They're watching TV. They know it, man. And for some reason, the media just kind of keeps disrespecting the Chiefs and everything like that, fluffing up the Chargers. I know it's the hot take and everything. They're trying to get everybody. I think it's a must-win, dude. It's going to be a divisional win. You always want to start off strong in a division, especially this division now. Everybody's hyping this as like the strongest division in the NFL. So to go 1-0 right away would be amazing. I know that they just did, you know what I mean? So kind of kill their little buzz right there. And then, yeah, everything that I just kind of said before, like just shut up the TV pundits, go in there.
Well, and Justin Herbert is 2-0 at Arrowhead.
And like have the rest of the AFC West realize who those teams. What's that?
Oh, sorry, but we were having on my end. Your audio is a little staggered, but yeah, I was just saying that Herbert's 2-0 at Arrowhead. So I mean, it's a big game. Like now, the first game, like I've heard people say, well, he's 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes didn't play in the first game. All right, that was the year we were 14-1, and we sat our starters because we had already clinched the 1 seed, and went 14-2. Do what?
We almost won that game anyway. It's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, we put up a pretty good showing. So, but he's 1-0 against Mahomes at Arrowhead. So I mean, from a pride standpoint, like we need to win. And then from the division standpoint, AFC record standpoint, yeah, it's not like it's not a must win. I mean, the Chargers are prone to collapsing mid to late in the season. I don't think that they're quite there yet. I think they're a really good team. I don't think they're quite on the tier of teams like the Chiefs or the Bills in the AFC, right? So I think that they're wanting to ascend to that level. We've talked about how I think that their coach is going to prevent them from getting there because he has a gambling problem on 4th down. But I think that just from a mindset of this is our fucking division. Like we need to win this game, right? Like I'm tired of all the talk. I'm tired of all the bullshit. I'm tired of everybody getting on there and saying this and that. And I know that that's what Bo was saying, but like this is our division. Like I've got a slide that I can put up, and there's some stats on here, but like the Chargers didn't win it in the last 6 years, right? The Chiefs won it the last 6 years. So it's got to be irking Patrick. It's got to be, playing in the players' heads. And I hope that we just go out there and I hope we put on a show. And, like the hot term that I've heard this year is scorched earth. And like, I'm hoping for scorched earth, man. Let's roll. Let's kick their ass. And then let's just put this to bed. So,
yeah. Chiefs are pretty healthy going into the game. Obviously, Trent McDuffie and Harrison Butker are out, but I think everybody else is good to go. The Chargers, it looks like they might be without Keenan Allen. He's hurt, and even if he does play, you got to figure he's not going to be anywhere near 100%.
Right.
With the short turnaround on Thursday. So maybe that goes in the Chiefs' favor a little bit. The Chiefs lost at home to the Chargers last year, and they still won the division. So, but if it's not a must-win, would sure make it a hell of a lot easier if you did win game.
I think it'll be harder for the Chargers to win on that same BS that they won last year. Like how many plays got extended through penalties? Like I want to say 7 or 8. They had 7 or 8 tries within the 10-yard line. Just some ridiculousness on that end. Be hard to replicate that amount of BS to pull off a win against the Chiefs again this year.
Well, if you remember going back to that game, they were moving the ball and driving, and then they had a tipped pass, 2 tip passes that turned into interceptions.
Yep.
They let the Chargers hang around. They lost the turnover battle on that, and still had the ball with a chance to go down and score a touchdown and win at the end. So, it's gonna be a big game. Like, what are you guys expecting? What are you looking forward to? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow, Nick?
I'm looking forward to another offensive showing. I think that Juju had a good game, but he had 2 fumbles, right? One went out of bounds, thankfully. The other one didn't, went to the other team. So I'm looking for a rebound from him. He was he got some balls, but he wasn't as big of a part of an offense as I think he can be. And so I'm looking for a big game from him. And then really just I'd like to see what we can do at running back. Like we talked about, like not really having an answer there. Pacheco was impressive at the end of the game there, where like they knew we were going to run, right? And they had to stop us, and he was ripping off big runs. He had, I think, 3 runs over 10 yards, 1 run over 20 yards. And so, for a guy in his first NFL game, I thought that was pretty impressive, and I'm excited to see what can happen. He had one play where, if he was a little bit bigger body, he probably would have trucked a guy and got into the end zone. But compared to what we've seen the last couple of years out of the running backs, I'm excited to see what we can do there. So, what do you think, Bo?
Going right along with that, man, I'm really curious about how the O-line's going to hold up. I mean, everybody kind of knows about the Bosa Mac duo pass rush that the Chargers have, man. I'm really curious to see how they do. I know Trey Smith kind of got injured in this last game, but he's had limited participation in practice all week. I'm not sure about his status to go. So we might have somebody fresh on the O-line that hasn't played yet, or, limited snaps kind of thing. So really curious to see how they hold up. But then also, to the same tune, I'm curious to see what we come out with offensive wise. I mean, I don't even remember seeing Burton, the fullback, out there once. So, I mean,
right.
We've kind of forgot to kind of tip our hats at Andy Reid. We did just a little bit, but man, the way he was scheming things out there was just unreal, man. The underhand pass to CEH. I watched a couple breakdowns on that. That play was just amazing. We've seen that play before with Kelsey and everything, but just to line up the players the way they did and to have that play unfold the way it did was just masterful scheming. So really curious to see how the coaches come out scheming the offense. Defensive wise, I'm super curious with Trent McDuffie out. We're gonna be playing CB2 and 3 out there. So just not our first pick deep are on the corners there. So Herbert's the guy that can expose that. So just curious if these guys will step up and prevent deep threats. Hopefully, just keep it in front of them. Like if they can just prevent deep threats, I'm okay with that. It's always impossible to stop every throw, but
yeah.
Just so like those kind of two facets, the O-line, and then just seeing how we are deep on the deep ball defensive wise. Scott, what about you? What are you expecting from this game?
I expect the Chiefs to march on, just keep going the way they've been going. That's how they looked in the preseason. That's how they looked in Game 1. I expect them to just come out and play well, and I expect them to win. So, looks like we got TCAF 31. I don't. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed and clicked that like yet, go ahead and just do that now.
I've heard stories of Bill fans really liking that experience.
Yeah, no, it won't take you more than like 10 or 13 seconds to do all that. So
I hear it takes 3 to get to the center of the lollipop. Though.
I was saying maybe it should be TCAF 13, but instead of 31. But thanks for joining the show. Thanks for the comment. We're happy to have you here on Chiefs Kingdom Live. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I don't think that loss at home sat well with them last year. I don't think all the talk of how people are saying that Justin Herbert's better than Patrick Mahomes sits well with Patrick Mahomes. He hears it.
That's Tony. Hey, Tony.
I was wondering if that was Tony. I thought that was it, and I was like, I wonder if that's Tony. Good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in, Tony. So I wasn't quite sure if that was you or not, man. But good to see you, brother.
I'm glad we didn't block him.
Oh, that was the fan I was referencing that liked that experience. So,
right.
Hey.
Right. We need to and that's kind of why I was having a little bit of fun with my response there, because I thought that was probably our friend Tony from the Locker Room Rant. If you haven't checked out his show, go check it out. I'm not sure what
their show's so great. Sorry.
Hey, they even did a happy birthday dance for my wife yesterday. So right. Happy birthday to my wife. They had a big one yesterday. So
right, their show's a lot of fun. It's funny as hell, and they've got good analysis, and it's just cool. They're just cool dudes. They're good dudes too. You can tell.
One of my favorite things during the week is watching their show for sure.
Definitely. I wonder if you do go on to the Locker Room Rant, make sure to wish John V a happy birthday and request the Pirate song. He loves it.
We need to get hooked up and get the Locker Room Rant. We need to do a
merger
where we get Chiefs Kingdom Live and the Locker Room Rant, do an episode together. But good to see you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Looking forward to that game, Week 6, bro. That's going to be a good game.
Oh yeah.
These teams have played some of the best football games.
Stacking up to be just as good as the last time, right? Like the way they're looking, both teams.
Right. But wonder where John V's at. Maybe he's working the diner or something. He can't get in there. Or he is licking his wounds after his 49ers lost to the Bears, and their new guy looked okay, but not great. But Tony's back in here. Tony, stop lying. I'm not lying, man. I'm not lying. Nick provides some of the best analysis I've ever seen on the internet. So make sure you give him a follow. Make sure you give the Locker Room Rant a follow and check out their show. They're Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Kingdom time, which is Central Standard Time. It's a lot of fun. Browns fans, 49ers fan, and a Bills fan in there.
Once he learns the gritty, you guys are going to hit like 1 million subscribers.
Right.
So we're going to unlock it.
I like the truffle shuffle, though. It works.
It's going to go viral.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to make a prediction on this game? Bo?
Let me throw this up real quick. I got a couple of stats here.
We like stats.
Yeah. Keys to the kingdom here.
Glasses.
I got my light right in front of my eyes here. So just we don't have a lot to go off of. So I went week 1 for a couple of stats here. Yards of offense, like the Chiefs, 488 to 355. I mean, obviously advantage KC there. Defensive yards allowed, 282 to 320, advantage Chiefs. Look at this one, head coaching career record, right? I mean, when you're talking about close games, you're talking about quarterbacks, and you're talking about coaches more often than not are the deciding factor. Staley's head coaching record isn't great. Andy Reid, over 200 wins to 150 losses. He's got over 100 wins with 2 different teams. And then we get into my favorite part. AFC West championships over the last 10 years. The Chiefs have 6. The Chargers, it's a not applicable stat for them, so they don't have one. Super Bowl appearances in the last 5 years, the Chiefs have 2. The Chargers, and again, not applicable. You could go and also, I didn't put it on the slide, but Super Bowl wins, right? They're in the NA stat there as well as a franchise. And then QB playoff appearances. So, Mahomes, all 4 years he started, he's been in the playoffs. Chargers, not applicable either. So I put those in there. You guys could probably hear some of the vitriol in my voice earlier when I was talking about it, but really grinds my gears, right? Like that people are putting the Chargers ahead. And I know it's like every year that they're going to be the team that's going to win the division. But I mean, for a team that hasn't accomplished shit in like the last several years, like it really just is baffling that they get as much attention as they do. So
because they got that sunshine at quarterback, man.
Say sunshine.
Has the Chargers coach been coaching long enough to have that many wins and losses?
Maybe it was a head coach in college too. I don't know. That's just the stat that I grabbed. Don't fact check this, anybody. I mean, and definitely don't bet on it using these odds.
I was gonna say, I think he's only been there 2 years.
If you do bet on it, Nick will compensate you for your losses.
Hey, I researched this for all of the 15 seconds it took me to Google, copy, and paste that number into the slide. So.
Right.
That sounds about what PFF does, man. Like, you're right. You're expert now.
Probably more accurate than PFF. So.
Shit. Still can't get over that ranking.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a big game. Oh, there's John V.
Oh, we got 2/3 of the locker room man in here.
Good to see you, John. Thanks for tuning in, man.
What's up, buddy?
Because he showed his face. Oh, how do you feel about that game, buddy?
No worries, John. I figured you're probably working the diner. He's a business owner, man. He's a working man.
He's got a family there,
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you, John V. Also a member of the Locker Room Rant, which we were just talking about. We got Tony and John V in here. So.
What is the betting line for this Chargers game? You said it's 3.5.
I think the Chiefs are favored by 3.5.
What's that?
I think I saw Chiefs favored by 3.5 points.
Yeah, I think it moved up.
It changed.
I think I think it moved up. It was like a pick 'em or a 1 or 2, and it moved up to 3 since this weekend, since it came out to start the week. John V's hollow inside. That's all right, man. It's growing pains, John. It's growing pains. That was a not great environment or weather and situation for your new guy to be starting out. He looked like a new quarterback, man, but he made some flashy plays. They got a defense. They'll get it figured out. The 49ers are going to be okay.
Week 1.
So, yeah, and week 1's weird. How many times have you seen a team just look terrible week 1? I think they said the Green Bay Packers have lost week 1 the last 2 or 3 seasons, and they played the NFC Championship game last year, and they're always up there at the top. So I always say don't overreact either way to week 1, good or bad. But, well, yeah, but he's a freak, John. So he didn't have any growing pains. You're right.
I think the spread's 4 points now.
Yeah, and I want to say it was at 1 or 2, and it moved up to 3.5, and maybe it's up to 4 now. So
yeah, I think it's 4. My internet's so slow right now. Oh my god, I probably get off of this so I don't lose connection to you guys here.
We're gonna change your name on the bottom to 56K.
Bo's on dial-up.
32-bit.
Bo's on dial-up. AOL. He's got a Hotmail email address too, I believe. So shoot him an email. It's Bo.
I still do have a Hotmail and a Yahoo. What else? I don't have an AOL. I used to have an AOL though.
Let's see. Chiefs, Chargers, over under. Let's see if I can beat Bo here.
Well, yeah, you're gonna beat me. My internet's terrible.
54.5 points. Tony, you still taking the over on 54.5 points?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I would.
Both teams in the 30s?
For the Chiefs in the 40s and Los Angeles in the 20s. But
Chiefs break the over just by themselves.
Well, all right, dude. I can see the Chiefs coming out, kind of doing the same thing, spreading it out, getting in, easily breaking over 30 points. Like that doesn't seem like a problem. I can also see the Chargers doing that more so than Arizona did all over us, and kind of stifling our defense. So I'd take the over.
Bo's got mail. Got our guy Tony in here. He's picking the Chiefs.
Probably thousands of emails.
Looks like our guy Tony, he's picking the Chiefs. Bills fans picking the Chiefs there, 31-27.
Sounds more stressful than I want the game to be.
Right.
You guys want to make a prediction?
Yeah, go for it. What do you got?
Nick?
Yeah, man, after seeing week 1, I think I'm going Chiefs 38, Chargers 27. I think the Chargers are gonna get some points out there, but I think the Chiefs are gonna be too much for them. And nobody knows this Chiefs offense yet, right? They've got film on Mahomes, they've got film on Andy Reid, but he has new stuff every year, right? You saw the scheming, Bo. You hit the nail on the head, right? He probably didn't get enough credit for the way that he outcoached Cliff Kingsbury in week 1. But I think it's going to be too much, and I think the Chiefs are, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game, but I think it's going to be mostly a 2-score game where maybe they'll get within a score and then we go ahead, that type of deal. That's how I see it rolling out.
Yeah, I see it pretty similarly. I got it like 37-30. I just kind of see a shootout happening, man. I kind of see both defenses stepping up or like, some weirdness happening. Keep it under 40 from both teams. But I don't, there's no reason that the Chargers won't score as much as the Cardinals. They got way better weapons. They got Mike Williams, but just a way better offensive core in general. The line's great. Alluding to John V's question, how many sacks are they going to get? I kind of mentioned this earlier. They got the Bosa-Mac duo. So, I imagine there's going to be a little bit more pressure on Mahomes than we saw this past week. Maybe keeping him out of the end zone, maybe 1 or 2 less times than we saw last week. But still, you're not going to stop that guy. He's going to be able to figure out with Andy Reid and Bieniemy and everybody. He's going to be able to slice and dice this team.
I think that I saw Mahomes stepping up in the pocket. I see Big Doug talking about. Are you there, Bo?
Yeah, Bo's going in.
Bo knows dial up indeed. But anyway, I saw Mahomes stepping up in the pocket, and so I think that's if he can improve that part of his game, because he drifts back a lot, and that's where I think a lot of chaos ensues. It's a good question, but I would be okay with taking a couple sacks, right? If he gets sacked 2-3 times, I think we're okay. I think it's when if he gets sacked more than 2 or 3 times, I think we're going to be in trouble, especially with his hand being hurt.
Yeah. I think Chiefs win this game. I'm going to go 30-23. Right there under the over-under of 53 points. 30-23 is what I'm going. Touchdown win.
Is Bo a statue?
Yeah, well, I couldn't tell. You kind of look like you froze up for a second, too, so I don't know if maybe it was Mike in it.
No. I got kids in the background, so I muted myself.
So, yeah, I'm rolling 30-23. If you're in the comments right now, send us what you think score is going to be and who you think is going to win.
Jamie, he's picking a big win. Jamie, I'll buy you lunch next time I'm in Philly if that's the score.
Yeah, Jamie pandering to the Chiefs a little bit maybe, but I can see it happening. I don't get that pass rush. Well, we got 2 Bows now.
What the hell just happened? My internet went out. Come back now. There's 2 Bows.
Multiplicity, baby.
You don't get to make 2 predictions, Bo. Okay, you pick one score.
That just goes away. What the hell?
All right, in the comments, what was better, everybody, having two bows or Scott's chipmunk voice for technical glitches?
Right. I like the two bows. That was pretty slick, Bo. I don't know how you did that, but yeah, if you're in the comments, we got Tony and Jamie on the record here, but Laney, Big Doug, Paul, if you're still in here, what do you? Let's see what you think. Get on the record here. Pick a score and tell us who you think is going to win.
Go ahead. You got it, Bo? Maybe not. Tony put in the chat, what week does Pacheco take over as number one back in the depth chart?
I don't know. He looked good, but Clyde looked good, and Clyde's got that first-round draft pick pedigree that I just know the Chiefs are going to be hesitant to move on from. So, I think if he does, I really don't see it happening unless maybe there's an injury or something, because I think even McKinnon would be ahead of him at this point. So, I think it's going to take injury to one of those two guys or both those guys ahead of him. Either of you guys see Pacheco taking over lead roles at some point during the season, outside of, like I just mentioned, an injury to one of the guys ahead of him?
Not unless Clyde gets hurt. I think that he showed enough spark in this last game to earn himself a few more weeks. And for all the great things about Andy Reid, he is kind of loyal sometimes to guys to a fault and keeps them in longer than he should have, right? But I don't know. Interesting that nobody, they didn't even give Rojo a carry. Even is that guy what do you think about that? I know that's not answering Tony's question, but I forgot he was on the roster during that game. You know what I mean?
It's still a conundrum to me that why they kept Ronald Jones on the team. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. But
you got to think that if he's gonna get in a game, it would have been that game, right?
You would have thought.
To see what he has left in the tank.
I don't see him being on the roster much longer. I don't get it. I don't.
Rojo made the roster because Derek Gore got hurt. Plain and simple, right? They were panicking that they didn't have a running back. They did not expect these three guys in this game one to just explode like they did. Sorry, just cut in. I feel like I only have limited time here with my internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, maybe that's a fair point. Maybe the other guys were just doing so well that they're like, well, we're not even going to bother with it. But I just think that if you were going to see what if he still had it, when you're up by 1 million points in the fourth quarter, you would have at least given him a carry or two. Just seemed like he brought up Pacheco. Tony brought up Pacheco. I'm like, when does he take over as the starter? And I was just like, oh shit, I even forgot that Ronald Jones is on the team.
I know that a couple of guys brought up
the
squad that didn't even dress, Fountain. Yeah, Fountain. He might have been one of them. They just brought him in, but they didn't dress him.
Yeah.
We got Laney's pick up on the screen and Doug's, and we got
we got Laney. Her pick is 35-21 Chiefs, and then Big Doug was 37-28 Chiefs. Must be a Chiefs show. Everybody's picking the Chiefs to win. I'll take it.
Weird.
But yeah, weird. And then Tony says that he thinks he might like second bow a little better than first bow.
It's the evil bow. Never mind that.
We got a little multiplicity going on Chiefs Kingdom Live here tonight. So the cloned bow. Just remember, Bo, don't clone the clone. So
number 4 in that is so good. Spitting on bugs. The voice. I guess it's not PC to do the voice anymore, but
don't get us canceled.
You're just quoting the movie, so it's okay. But before we get out of here, who's your player of the game for the Chiefs tomorrow night? Nick?
Can you say Patrick Mahomes, or is that too easy?
Nah. Well, you can, I guess.
Patrick Mahomes. Why not?
You can. It just makes you It's too easy. All right. My player of the game. I think I said earlier, I'm going to go Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's going to have his first big game as a Chief.
Very
yeah,
stupid.
no, Lainey, she's not a fan of multiplicity.
I told
Anybody that's shopping early for Christmas, now you know what to get Lainey for Christmas. We'll just send her like 20 copies of multiplicity on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever they have now.
I told everybody last week Lainey was a hater. So,
hate.
So Nick's going with Juju. Let's hope he can hang on to the football this week. Bo,
I got TMFK, man. I was just thinking about the last time we played the Chargers and that epic overtime catch he had and finish. I got TMFK. Just he's Mr. Consistent, dude. It's I think he was 8th overall receiving this week. That's including every wide receiver in the league. So yeah, just like that guy to me is just always going to crush it. He's on pace, I think, for another 1,000-yard season already, even in the first game. But yeah, TMFK.
I'm going to roll Stone Cold since Bo just took my pick. I picked Travis last week on the Pub Rock Live show, so I'm going to go Stone Cold Chris Jones. I'm gonna have him getting in there and mixing, hassling and harassing Justin Herbert a bit, and maybe getting a sack or two, maybe forcing a fumble or something, batting some balls down. I'm rolling Stone Cold on the defense for tomorrow's game. If they can get in there and rattle Herbert and get in there and make it uncomfortable for him, that's gonna be huge. That's going to be huge, especially if George Karlaftis, if Furious George is drawing some attention after that. Maybe they can't double team Chris Jones. It don't matter a lot of times when they double team him anyway. Justin Herbert, he's not a statue in the pocket, but he's also not – no one's going to mistake him for a Kyler Murray or a Lamar Jackson. So I think Stone Cold Jones gets it done on the defensive line and has a big game, makes some big plays for the Chiefs, helps them pull out the win. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here? Looks like Lainey's picking Kelsey. She's rolling with Bo here.
Yeah. Great choice.
No, I'm just excited for this game tomorrow. That's all I've got. I mean, no real final thoughts other than that we just we got to win. We got to win. So otherwise the national media is going to be insufferable.
Is this Amazon's first game, right? Under their
It is.
Yep. The game's on channel 41 locally. If you don't have an Amazon Prime account, you can't stream the game. So
that'd be another good.
You live in Kansas City,
right there. Furious George goes on a rampage. Like just you do the book to change the title of it right there. Let's see your paint skills, Nick.
Let's do it. So
Furious George breaks somebody's arm.
Right. Well, thanks everybody who tuned in. We appreciate it. Had a good lively chat.
Better internet.
Thanks again to if you didn't get a chance to check out our episode from Saturday from Pub Rock Live, go do that after you click off of here. And go give that a view. That was a lot of fun doing that live. That was the first time doing something like that. So we had a blast. Tell your friends, click that like, click that subscribe, turn on those notifications. Go over to social media if you haven't followed us there. Check out our content there. The Chiefs Kingdom Live poll is still up over there too on Twitter. So it's going to be going until tomorrow. We put it up a little bit late, so you still got a chance to get in there. Tony, good to see you all. Lainey, John V. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate you watching the show. And we'll be back next Wednesday, 7 o'clock Kingdom time. Hopefully talking about a big win over the Chargers and a 2-0 start to the season. So let's go Chiefs.
All right, let's go Chiefs.
Maybe a Saturday. But maybe a Saturday podcast, pick some games or something. Maybe throwing that out there.
Yeah, I can do it.
Up to you guys. We'll
do it on Saturday. So we got to
follow us on social media. We'll announce it here shortly. So till then,
we should probably work something like that.
Go Chiefs!
All right, let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.